Picture this, a country of over 1 billion people, a land of vibrant colors, rich history, and spicy food. India is a nation that thrives on its diversity, where every street corner tells a different story, and every festival brings a new wave of joy and celebration. From the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas to the sun-kissed beaches of Goa, India is a land of contrasts and contradictions, where ancient traditions coexist with modern aspirations. This is India, the world's largest democracy, a place where every citizen, regardless of their background, has the right to vote and have their voice heard. It's a system that has been celebrated for its inclusivity and resilience, a beacon of hope in a world where democracy is often under threat, at least that's what they tell you. But lately, something feels different. There's a growing sense of unease, a feeling that the very foundations of this great democracy are being shaken. Conversations in public spaces are tinged with anxiety, and the air is thick with uncertainty. A shadow has fallen over India, a shadow cast by the policies of its own Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Elected with a promise of development and progress, Modi's tenure has been marked by a series of controversial decisions that have polarized the nation. His speeches, once filled with hope and promise, now seem to carry a different tone, one that has left many Indians feeling apprehensive about the future. Under Modi's leadership, India's democratic fabric is fraying. The very principles that have held this diverse nation together are being tested. Protests have become a common sight, with people from all walks of life taking to the streets to voice their concerns. The atmosphere is charged, and the tension is palpable. Freedom of speech is under attack. Dissent is being silenced. Journalists, once the watchdogs of democracy, now find themselves under constant scrutiny and pressure. The media landscape is changing, with voices of opposition being drowned out by a chorus of conformity. The right to question and criticize, a cornerstone of any healthy democracy, is being eroded, and the rights of minorities are being trampled upon. In a country that prides itself on its pluralism, the treatment of religious and ethnic minorities has become a cause for concern. Reports of discrimination and violence are on the rise, and the sense of security that these communities once felt is slowly slipping away. It's a slow and insidious erosion, but it's happening right before our eyes. The signs are everywhere, if you know where to look. From the gradual decay of political posters to the increasing signs of unrest in the streets, the evidence of this democratic decline is all around us. This isn't just an internal Indian matter, the world is watching, and the implications of what's happening in India extend far beyond its borders. International news outlets are picking up on the story, and discussions about India's political situation are becoming more frequent in global forums. The whole world has a stake in India's democracy. As the world's largest democracy, India's political health is a barometer for democratic values globally. What happens here can set a precedent, influencing democratic movements and policies in other parts of the world. Global leaders are paying attention, and the stakes are higher than ever. What happens in India, the world's largest democracy, has ripple effects across the globe. The international community is beginning to voice its concerns, with protests and solidarity movements emerging in various countries. The fate of India's democracy is not just an Indian issue, it's a global one. So buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive deep into the story of how Modi's policies are pushing India towards the brink. We'll explore the decisions that have led to this point, the impact on the everyday lives of Indians, and what the future might hold for this great nation. It's a complex and multifaceted story, but one that needs to be told. Stay with us as we unravel the threads of a democracy on the edge. Let's talk taxes, shall we? Taxes are the lifeblood of any government, funding everything from infrastructure to social services. They are the price we pay for living in a civilized society. But what happens when this essential system is manipulated for political gain? Nobody likes them, but they're kind of essential for a functioning society. Taxes ensure that roads are built, schools are funded, and public services are maintained. They are the glue that holds the fabric of society together. In India, though, the tax system has become a weapon used to target Modi's critics and opponents. This isn't just a matter of financial policy, it's a strategic move to stifle dissent and consolidate power. The taxman cometh, but not for everyone.
Big businesses, many of them Modi's allies, seem to be getting away with paying less and less. These corporations, often with deep political connections, find ways to minimize their tax burdens, sometimes through legal loopholes and sometimes through outright evasion. Meanwhile, small businesses and ordinary citizens are being squeezed dry. The tax burden falls disproportionately on those who can least afford it, creating a widening gap between the rich and the poor. For the average person, tax season is a time of stress and financial strain. Tax raids are being conducted on those who dare to speak out against the government. Journalists, activists, and opposition leaders find themselves under scrutiny, their finances picked apart in a bid to silence their voices. It's a chilling reminder of the power dynamics at play. This isn't just about economics, it's about control. By leveraging the tax system, the government can exert influence over its critics, ensuring that dissent is kept to a minimum. It's a tactic as old as politics itself, but no less effective for its age. By controlling the flow of money, Modi is trying to control the narrative. Financial power translates to political power, and by keeping a tight grip on the nation's purse strings, the government can shape public perception and stifle opposition. It's about silencing dissent and making sure everyone knows who's really in charge. The tax system, once a tool for public good, has been weaponized to serve the interests of those in power. In this climate, the true cost of taxation is not just financial, but also a matter of freedom and democracy.
India loves the internet. It's a place where people can connect, share ideas, and even criticize the government. The digital landscape has been a vibrant space for discussions, debates, and the exchange of diverse viewpoints. From bustling internet cafes to the busy streets where people are glued to their smartphones, the internet has become an integral part of daily life in India. Or at least it used to be. The once lively and dynamic online environment is now facing unprecedented challenges. The vibrancy is fading, and the spaces that were once filled with lively discussions are now eerily quiet. The sense of community and freedom that the internet provided is slowly being eroded. Enter the Digital Broadcasting Bill, Modi's attempt to control what you see and hear online. This piece of legislation is being touted as a measure to ensure national security and maintain public order. However, the implications of this bill are far-reaching and deeply concerning for the future of free speech in India. This bill gives the government sweeping powers to censor online content in the name of national security. Websites can be blocked, content can be removed, and individuals can be penalized for what they post online. The criteria for what constitutes a threat to national security are vague, giving the government broad discretion to silence dissenting voices. But let's be real, it's about silencing any voice that dares to question Modi's authority. The bill is a tool to stifle criticism and suppress opposition. It targets those who speak out against the government, whether they are journalists, activists, or ordinary citizens. The fear of retribution is palpable, and self-censorship is becoming increasingly common.
Journalists, activists, even ordinary citizens are being targeted for their online posts. The crackdown on free speech is not just theoretical, it is happening in real time. People are being arrested for their social media activity, and the chilling effect on free expression is profound. The message is clear. Dissent will not be tolerated. The message is clear: toe the line or face the consequences. The government is sending a strong signal that any form of dissent will be met with severe repercussions. The atmosphere of fear and intimidation is stifling, and the space for free expression is shrinking rapidly. It's the digital equivalent of Big Brother, watching your every move. Surveillance is pervasive, and people are increasingly aware that their online activities are being monitored. The sense of privacy and security that the internet once provided is being replaced by a sense of paranoia and caution. The internet, once a beacon of free expression in India, is slowly being plunged into darkness. The vibrant and open digital space is being replaced by a controlled and censored environment. The future of free speech in India is at a crossroads, and the stakes have never been higher. The fight for digital freedom is more crucial than ever, as the very essence of the internet as a platform for free expression hangs in the balance.
In a healthy democracy, citizens have the right to criticize their leaders. It's called freedom of speech, and it's kind of a big deal.
But in Modi's India, speaking truth to power can land you in serious trouble. We're talking arrests, detentions, even physical attacks on journalists, activists, and anyone else who dares to question the government's narrative.
Student activists are being labeled as anti-national simply for expressing their views. It's a dangerous game of intimidation and fear, designed to silence dissent and create a climate of self-censorship.
The message is clear. Don't rock the boat or you'll be thrown overboard.
Journalism is often called the fourth pillar of democracy. It's the watchdog that holds those in power accountable.
But in Modi's India, journalists are facing an unprecedented assault. They're being harassed, threatened, even killed for simply doing their jobs.
Independent media outlets are being starved of advertising revenue, forced to shut down or toe the government line. This isn't just an attack on journalists, it's an attack on the very idea of a free press.
Without a free press, there's no one left to hold the powerful accountable. It's a recipe for corruption, abuse, and tyranny.